So the first thing I would like to say to you today is that yeah, since you people have to be giving the exams online, so the first thing of offline exams will be given offline. Sorry. So the first thing which you need to do is preparation, the offline type of preparation. You must open your syllabus, check your folders, which notes you have, which you don't have. Those you have, and if you have one or two, three copies of it, select which note you will like to study or you are able to understand the best. That note, keep that note aside and make a selection of which are the notes you have, and then ask me for all the notes which you don't have, or ask for alternative notes if you are unable to understand some certain things. These video lectures will be there, and you will find a lot of things in the YouTube, but still I would say that you people make yourself aware of what you need to study more. Okay, so first I will start with evidence of evolution. So before we study, are you able to see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so evolution, how do you define evolution? This is from the Google. I have just enlarged the screen. Evolution, it is a change in the heritable characteristic of biological population over successive generations. So already evolution means one generation, second generation, third generation, generations after generations they go, and there is a change in heritable characteristics of the population. Heritable means these characteristics are the expression of genes that are passed on from parents to offspring during reproduction. There are many theories on how this evolution takes place. Before we go into this theory, I hope you know what evolution is now. Is it clear? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So there are three types of evolution. So some patterns of evolution one can see. And what are these patterns of evolution? You have one is known as divergent evolution, one is known as convergent evolution, and the other is known as parallel evolution. So three types of evolution takes place. So there are different factors such as environmental change and pressures. They can have different effects on the ways in which species are exposed and they evolve. So three types of evolution. First is the divergent evolution. This is the this A. A is the divergent evolution. So you have a parental species. They go and then on one point they separate on two ways. This is the most common. You can see an ancestor species. Say, if you think about an ancestor species known as frog, the ancestor of frog and ancestor of amphibia. So we are talking about the ancestor of frog, of frog and ancestor of reptilia. That is, say, lizards. So they had a common ancestor known as they were known as in a group known as Lysamphibia. So they had from one parental species. One side you have the amphibians like the frogs coming up, and on the other side you had the lizards coming up. So this is known as divergent evolution. Another thing is that you have another type of evolution known as convergent evolution. You have a parent species, two parent species, and they eventually they diverge and then they suddenly become similar. For example, if you see the characteristics of whale or dolphins and that of a shark, you'll find lots of similarities, but their origin was different. They converge to the similar type of characters of living underwater. That is because of their environment, that is the water environment, aquatic environment. And you have parallel evolution, that the one species they remain separate, the other species remain separate, the insects remain separate, the mammals remain separate. So that is something like of a parallel evolution. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, from this, we will go to the next topic, which is the evidence of evolution. Please tell me when you are not able to see the slide. I have already shared this slide, and you are advised to download these Google Slides on on your mobiles and view this presentation. Kindly watch these two videos on evidence of evolution. These YouTube links are there. And from Khan Academy, you can read about evidence of evolution. I've given the link over here and I've sent the file also on your WhatsApp. You can click on this link and you can get those details. So, how do you know that evolution has taken place? So, there needs to be certain evidence. So, evolution, what is evolution? Organic evolution, basically it is changes in the genetic makeup of a species in a population as a result of responding to environmental changes. Then that is organic evolution, and this means the genetic makeup, that is these particular sets of genes are there. There are some changes which take place in a whole population, not in everybody. In say 100 in the whole population of Asansol, maybe one or two people, they had have they develop the ability to drink less water. Since we are having lot of water problems now, they drink less water, and suddenly that is they need less water. They have got better metabolism of their water utilizing genes and so called, if there is something like that. And as a result of environmental changes, this is known as organic evolution. Like you can see that the brain, this is the evolution of the brain in horse. In the Eocene, you have different geological ages: Eocene, Oligocene, Miocene, Pliocene, Pleistocene. You have different geological ages, that is the layers of soil under which they were buried. So all our, we will one day, we will also, our particular civilization will go underneath, and a new layer of soil will form on the top, and that will be the latest layer. So already throughout evolution, we had all these particular layers. So changes in the genetic makeup of a species in a population as a result of responding environmental change is organic evolution. And so you can see throughout these ages, there is a change in the genetic makeup. As a result, the size of the brain, it increases from Eohippus. This was the ancestor of horse. Then it became a bit larger in Mesohippus, bit larger in Merychippus. They became more large in Pleiohippus. Just hold on. Hello. Anyway, I'll talk later on that. So, and largely in Ecus, it became extremely large. Now, what are the evidences of this organic evolution? This evolution, what is this evidence which has taken place? You can see the size of the brain from the skull. You can see the skull because they are all fossilized. So first thing which you have is the morphological and anatomical evidences. What are the morphological and anatomical evidences? If you see, this is the hand, this is a primate hand, for example. This is a dog's has say legs, four legs. This is in whales, you see this, and this is in bats. So you will see that the bones, basically you have this particular the bones which you see, the humerus, bone. Then you have the radius ulna. Then you have the carpals, metacarpals. You'll see they are fused, but you can see that from the morphology, you can see that they are all similar. Can you see this from the picture?
Yes, sir.
More or less, you can see have something. So the evidence essentially are morphological and anatomical evidences. You have embryological evidences, you have paleontological evidences, you have physiological evidences, and you have zoo geographical evidences. Now let us go on throughout these evidences. What are the evidences? The first, morphological and anatomical evidences. If you see, all vertebrate forelimbs, they are homologous, meaning that they all evolved from the same structures. Specific uses of the forelimbs may be analogous if they evolved from different substructures of the forelimbs, such as the flippers of turtles and dolphins and wings. If you look at this, you see humerus, radius ulna. You will find radius ulna in a cat, you will find it in human, you will find it in whales, you will find it in bats. But in whales, you will find something like flippers. But this flipper developed secondarily. Originally, it was like this. Okay, if you look at the forelimbs, you will see that this is an evidence that there was an evolution. They have all evolved from one common ancestor. From one common ancestor, there were certain changes from which you had some humans, human-like hand coming, a cat-like forearm coming, a whale-like flipper coming, and a bat-like radius ulna, a wing-like thing is formed. Bird wings are also there. If you find these differences, clear? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, okay. There are certain vestigial structures, they can also be considered evidence for evolution. The process by which beneficial heritable traits arise in population over an extended period of time. The existence of vestigial traits can be attributed to changes in the environment and behavior pattern in a common ancestor. So, if you see our appendix, this was very important in uh, in cows. You in arboreal animals, you can find these appendix is important. But for us, it's just a vestigial structure. Then suddenly, when you're excited or something, you have these goosebumps coming up. This is also very important. It's a vestigial structure. Then you have the wisdom teeth coming out. Akel daant. We don't need it, but because of this present, we know that our four ancestors, they had this teeth. You can find these more number of the different dentition in other animals. Clear? Vestigial structures are also evidence of evolution. Then again, on the morphological anatomy, you can see analogous organs also give evidence coming from two directions, that is like a convergent evolution. Analogous organs, like the wings of a bird and wings of a butterfly, they have the same function, but they're structurally they are not homologous. This was homologous, right? This type of structures are homologous structures, and these type of structures are known as analogous structures, analogous organs, which means that they serve the same function in different species. but they evolved independently rather from the same embryological material or from the same structures in a common ancestors. Then, atavism, is a modification of a biological structure whereby an ancestral genetic trait appears after having been lost through evolutionary change in previous generation. So this was Lionel, the lion boy. In the early 19th century, he was considered a freak in the circus. Former our ancestor, they had lots of hair on their faces, which was lost. Suddenly, in one individual, you find such hairs coming out in these freaks. So he was served in the circus and he had a nice life, but still he was a evolutionary. Suddenly this character comes up like his face looked like a lion. This is also an evidence that evolution has taken place. That this character was lost, but suddenly this trait has reappeared. Then, if you see the embryological history, embryology, the study of the development of the anatomy of an organism to its adult form, it also provides evidence for evolution, as embryo formation in widely divergent groups of organisms tend to be conserved. Now, look at the embryo of a frog, embryo of a reptile, bird, and human. You will see it's more or less similar. দেখো ল্যাজ আছে, humans also had tail. This was lost secondarily. All of them had gill slits, all of them had tail, all of them had notochord. So if you see the embryology, the development, you will see that they had a common ancestor, a common development. So Ernst Haeckel, he gave this recapitulation theory. Ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. However, this is not accepted very much. But if you see the development of fish, right? Development of turtle, development of chicken, development of rabbit, development of human. If you look from this direction, and this direction, and from this direction, ontogeny means it is the evolutionary development. So if you see the evolutionary development, it is also similar to the phylogeny. So the ontogeny is the individual development, that is human stage 1, 2, 3. And if you see the phylogeny, that is fish 1, salamander 1, turtle 1, chicken 1, rabbit 1, human 1. So if you see it more or less, if you see this line and this line, they have a similarity, but this is not accepted nowadays. The best evidences come from paleontological evidences, from fossils. So you can see Mesohippus in the late Eocene, Merychippus, you can see certain and to the modern ecus, the modern horse, you will see it is unguli grade. Only one, they stand on one finger, and you will see it was not like this. They had many fingers, many digits. The digits, number of digits, they reduced throughout evidence, throughout evolution. You will see the structure changes. Mild, but if you can see this paleontological evidence, so this you can see this is a clear uh, example of evolution. Horse evolution has been studied very well. Clear? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then you have the physiological biochemistry, chemistry and genetics evidences. If you see all living organisms, they're all their carbohydrates, all the carbohydrates, all the amino acids, all the DNA, they have got the same chemical structure throughout the animal and throughout the living kingdom. They're all carbon based molecule. They are all known as biochemical brothers. They are same. The carbohydrate of a ant is not different from the carbohydrate present in your body. or carbohydrate present in grass. It is the similar same thing, the carbohydrate, protein, lipid, nucleic acids. This is a very good example of evolution. Then, if you look at the metabolic pathways, glycolysis, the process of glycolysis is same in plant, and this same glycolysis, same enzymes, they are present in your body. They do the same work. My insulin is not working, so I take injection of insulin from outside. From In former times, they used to take from ox pancreas. It used to work. So if you look at vital processes like cell division, it's all same. The process of mitosis, meiosis, it is same in all of them. In bacteria, it is different, but in all eukaryotes, whether it's plants or animals or unicellular amoeba, it's same. Nature and composition of RNA, DNA, it's same throughout the living kingdom. Then there are compounds like phosphagens. They play a key role in muscle contraction. Phosphagens of most vertebrates, they are creatine phosphates. In most invertebrates, they are arginine phosphates. The hemichordates, they are the most primitive chordates. They have both the phosphagens, creatine phosphate and arginine phosphate. Hemichordate means they are half chordates. That is, they have some characters of chordates and some characters of non-chordates. So they have both of them. Another physiological evidence of evolution. Then the chromosomes of all living organisms basically consist of nucleoproteins. It is very conserved from pea plant to human beings, from chickpea, tabli chana, tarje histone, and humans histones. They are the same. Only two amino acids that there is a change. Then there are a lot of serological tests. A small amount of blood serum from an animal is injected into the blood of guinea pig or any other animals. Antibody against the antigens of injected blood will be produced. These antigens will be destroyed now by antibodies, thus produced in the bloodstream as well as in a test tubes. So you will find this degree of precipitation, antigen antibody reaction, which takes place. It differs from species to species. Closely related species, they have less reaction than species which are farther away from each other. That means what? If you take a pig heart and put it in a human heart, in a human, you will see that a human will take this heart for few days. But if you immediately take some distant organism heart, it will die immediately. There will be a rejection and it will die. So these type of tests are done when organ transplantation takes place. Closer they are, the less the precipitation test or this antigen antibody reactions taking place. Lesser, but it takes place eventually. Now, suppose a guinea pig is immunized against the blood of salamander, ambistomas. The serum of this blood is taken in 4 test tubes, and antigen serum is added from 4 different groups, namely Amphura, Siren, and Cryptobranchus. Right? They are similarly. যাচ্ছে না কেন next page? It got stuck. Now here. So now Necturus, Amphuma, Siren, and Cryptobranchus. So highest precipitation occurs in the test tube where Necturus serum is added, and minimum precipitation occurs where Cryptobranchus serum is added. Amphuma and Siren, they are closely related to each other. but distantly related to much more primitive salamander Cryptobranchus. So first, what they did, they took from ambystoma, they took their blood and they put it into guinea pig, and guinea pig developed antibodies against this. Now they took this antibody and they put it in four test tubes. In one they put Necturus blood. In one they put Amphima blood, Siren blood, and Cryptobranchus blood. So highest precipitation occurred in Necturus. This is the Necturus, and minimum precipitation occurred in Cryptobranchus. This means that minimum precipitation occurring means that the Cryptobranchus is more closely related to Ambystoma, and highest Necturus is this Necturus. These are all amphibians. Salamanders are the Urodales. They are a group of amphibians. So there it is more distance. Therefore, more precipitation has taken place. Am I clear? বুঝতে
Yes,
পেরেছো?
sir.
Okay.
हाँ सर बुझতে পেরেছি।
Okay.
Yes, sir.
रुचि 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 समझ में आया? रुचि प्रणाली?
Yes, sir.
ओके ओके आभा का भी आवाज आया. So similarly, these serological tests have been done with humans, monkeys, apes. Based on the amount of precipitation, you can say that you can find that chimpanzee and human are the most closely related. The same thing which you did. You take blood, put it in guinea pig, take the antibody from guinea pig and four tubes, and then the blood of all these monkeys have been put in each tube, and depending upon the amount of precipitation, more precipitation, more further away from each other. Then you have zoo geographical evidences. The marsupials of Australia, Darwin's finches in the Galapagos, and many species on the Hawaiian Islands are unique to their island settings, but have distant relationship to ancestral species on mainlands. This combination of features reflect the process by which island species evolve. So, if you look at the kangaroos, and if you look at our animals in the mainland, uh, or the Galapagos Island finches, Darwinian finches, they have got separate characteristics than the mainland. But unique, they have developed, the marsupials developed unique characteristics, but they have also very similar characteristics to that of Asian animals: eyes, nose, ears, bones. But they have unique characteristics which they have developed in Australia. So this says that somehow when they became geographically isolated, Australia became separate from the mainland of Asia, Europe, and Africa. Then the animals which got separated, they became isolated from mainland islands animals, and result they evolved. Clear? So these are all the references. I've exited the full screen. I'm closing this. I had one more chapter in mind to talk about mass extinction. Are you people able to see this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me make it a bit smaller. This is all the different mass extinctions which have taken place. Throughout the beginning of the life on Earth, there was this extinction was a is a natural event which takes place because of certain factors, changes in the environment, because of certain meteorite crashes, some volcanic thing, because of increase of a population of a species, or things like this. These extinctions are mass scale of species dying out. They are quite the normal phenomenon which has taken place, and five such important uh, extinction events have taken place. The first one is the during the Ordovician, oldest, the Ordovician Silurian extinction. It took place 440 million years ago. Scientists theorize that there were two main phases to this extinction: a glaciation event and a heating event. Abundant plant life removed carbon dioxide from the air, causing global cooling and glacier formation. This led to a drop in sea levels, reducing habitat. Later came global warming and sea level rising. Creatures that had adapted to cooler climate were unable to survive, and the increased temperature. Since most of the fauna was marine, 86% of the life was long. So a lot of plant was there, and abundant plant, and they removed all the carbon dioxide from photosynthesis. And when carbon dioxide was removed, that causes a global cooling, because carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas, and global cooling, and then glaciers formed, and all the seas got frozen, and the sea level fell, and all animals which were and then what happened, global animals became uh, they were adapted to the colder habitat. Then global warming came because of a change in the shift of earth's axis and all these seasons, and creatures that had adapted to the cooler climate, they died out. Then you had this the late Devonian extinction 365 million years ago. About 75% of life died off during this period. One theory suggests that land plants developed deep roots, releasing an abundance of nutrients into the oceans that feed algae. Because of this, algae blooms consumed vast amount of oxygen in the oceans, suffocating many species. Another theory suggests that another global cooling took place, resulting in glaciation and a fall in sea level, resulting in habitat loss. Then you had the third one, the Permian Triassic extinction. Are you able to see this, by the way?
Yes, sir.
So then the
Yes, sir.
Permian Triassic extinction took place. That is 252 million years ago. This Permian Triassic, it was the deadliest extinction in history. Here, 96% of all life perished. Scientists believe that volcanic activity in Siberia put massive amounts of carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas, into the atmosphere. Bacteria that thrive on CO2 began to produce methane, and which is also another greenhouse gas. Large quantities of both these gas warmed the planet and combined with Earth's water, making oceans rains acidic, creating highly toxic environment for life. And then the greatest of them all, the KT extinction, the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction, that took place 66 million years ago, where the dinosaurs died. They say now it is in the Yucatan Peninsula. They have found they saw that there was an evidence of asteroid which impacted Earth, and this caused large amount of debris in the atmosphere, and the global temperature dropped, and local fires, earthquakes, tsunami, acid rain. Because of this, all the dinosaurs, along with 60 to 76% of all life on Earth, got destroyed. And now we are having the Holocene extinction. This is, here you have the human influence of extinction which is taking place. So every day, at least there is three species, novel species, are dying out. The fastest extinction is taking place currently in this Holocene extinction, the 11,000 years ago to the present. So many. In the last century, the dodo died out, a bird which could not fly, human hunting. The word came. Now you have the dodos, actually a stuffed museum specimen, because human beings saw dodos, but they are extinct now. They have got, there is only a stuffed specimen of the dodos present. So these are the an overview of extinction. Now, let us go to study about this KT extinction in details. So, we will talk about KT extinction. Now, if you look at the geological time scale and the Cretaceous period, you have the Paleozoic. You have divided geological time scale is divided into eon, era, period, and epoch. You have eons. The eons can be divided, and this is the 50 to 541 million years ago. Okay, and so you had the let's start from the Phanerozoic eon is going on. So you have the Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic era. The eras are also divided into period. The Paleozoic is divided into Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous, and Permian. The Mesozoic is divided into uh, Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous, and the Cenozoic is divided into Paleogene, Neogene, Quaternary, and Quaternary. So if you look at the layers of soil, in the soil it is like this. The topmost soil has got this soil. So the dinosaur fossils are found somewhere in this region, in this Jurassic. We have read from the Jurassic Park, something like 66 in the Cretaceous, they all died out 66 million years ago. Cretaceous also can be divided into the lower Cretaceous and the upper Cretaceous. That can be also divided into age. Currently, we are at the Maastrichtian period, which is the latest. Clear about this geological ages? Yes, no? Yes, okay. So these are the some pictures. This asteroid hitting and they are dying. The KT extension stands for Cretaceous Tertiary Extinction. This is a global extinction event that witnessed the elimination of 70% of the species living on Earth within a very short time of 65 million years ago. This mass extinction is known as KT extinction. It comes from the German word chalk. So this is an artist's impression. Uh, German word Kreide, which means chalk, which refer with references to chalky sediments of the Cretaceous period, and the word tertiary, which was traditionally used to describe the period of time spanning the Paleogene and Neogene period. This is the origin of the term. So the diversity you can see during the Cretaceous period here, KT, and this is the border. So you had the different type diversity of marine life: trilobites, brachiopods, graptolites, bryozoans were there. Then they changed. The trilobites changed. You can see that the jawless fishes came, other types of fishes came, other types of marine reptiles came. So all these and the diversity changed throughout time. So this resulted in elimination of many lines of animals that were important elements of the Mesozoic era, including nearly all of the dinosaurs and many marine invertebrates. The only line of archosaurs, that is the group of reptiles that contain the dinosaurs, birds, and crocodilians. So the crocodiles are archosaurians that survived the extinction, were the lineages that led to modern birds and crocodilians. All died. Only a few of them survived. So you can read from here that there's so many of them they died. You can find them in these fossils, these shells. The causes of this KT extinction: impact of asteroid. If an asteroid impact had actually caused a global ecological disaster, it would have led to the sudden extinction of many different groups. Thus, if the asteroid hypothesis were correct, we would expect to find many extinctions in the fossil records that line up exactly with the KT boundaries, and fewer than that occurred in the millions of years leading to the end of the Cretaceous. So, if you see the amount of extinction during the Cretaceous Tertiary extinction, the number of species percent of extinction was the highest because of this asteroid impact. So this Chicxulub comet. So Luis Alvarez, they found out about this in Chicxulub area. They had found out that there is an iridium rich layer over here. This is the KT boundary. In the soil layer was cut over here. The iridium rich layer at the KT boundary has been associated with the Chicxulub crater of the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. So you find that in this in Earth, iridium is extremely rare in the Earth's crust because it is a siderophile element which mostly sank along with iron into Earth's core. Iridium is not found very much, but at this it comes these iridium, it comes from the from a crater. If it comes from an asteroid in the KT boundary, there is an increased amount of an iridium rich layer was found in the Chicxulub crater, that where this asteroid impact took place. It is assumed that this mass scale extinction took place and the dinosaurs died because of this impact. Then this huge crater which you can see over here. This is the Chicxulub crater. This is another picture of this crater. Direct evidence that there was an asteroid impact. You can see from the soil layers. In this the impact of the crater was in this region. Then there is a thing like a shocked quartz in the Chicxulub crater. The shocked quartz was found. So shocked quartz is, but this quartz is suddenly found when suddenly a high pressure and high impact takes place. Normally, quartz forms a different type of quartz is formed, but this quartz present over it suggests that there was a huge impact which took place. So, from the tsunami debris along the tsunami, if a huge asteroid had struck one of the Earth's ocean at the end of the Cretaceous, it would have caused tsunamis, which would have scraped up sediments from the bottom of the ocean and deposited them elsewhere. Thus, if the asteroid hypothesis was correct, we would expect to find debris bed from tsunamis at the KT boundary. So when the tsunamis take place, these KT boundaries, you find these rocks coming up in these tsunami debris. Then, of course, the impact debris is there. That if a huge asteroid had struck Earth at the end of the Cretaceous, it would have flung off particles from the impact site. Thus, if the asteroid hypothesis were correct, we would expect to find particles from the impact site in the KT boundary layer. The orange wavy line seen in this wall of a Belize quarry marks the base of the KT debris flows. This orange, if there was an impact, there must have been a line, some debris scattered. Then soil has formed over it, but this minor line of this debris is still found over there. This is an impact debris. All these things were seen. Then sudden there is glass formation, generated lots of heat, melting of rock into glass, and flinging of glass particles away from the impact site. So in greenish clay fragments of this KT, they were found. These were once glass shards in this KT boundary. where this extinction or this asteroid impact had taken place, these glass fragments are also found. So, taking the or with all these evidences, you could find that some impact had been taken place. So normally, because of a tsunami, an asteroid, if it hits an ocean, a tsunami will start taking place, and that impact will bring in, say, KT rocks to the surface, and so on the surface these KT rocks are found. That means, why? How did the KT rocks come over there? Because an impact from the asteroid took place, and the one which rock which was supposed to be at the bottom, they came up. So all these evidences, then these tektites, they are larger glass beads. They were found. This was also an evidence in these KT boundary, and this volcanism, the Deccan Trap. The Deccan Trap also could have caused exchange. Another reason, apart from asteroid impact, the second was the increased Maastrichtian volcanism, that is the Deccan Trap in this region. It could have caused extinction through several mechanisms, including the release of dust and sulfuric aerosols into the air, which might have blocked sunlight and thereby reduced photosynthesis in plants. So, volcano eruption in this Deccan Plateau region, suddenly lots of gas, and they could not allow uh, lots of carbon dioxide emission and increased greenhouse effect, and all this caused aerosol. This caused the temperature to rise, and many animals, they died out because of this volcanism. They were also found in the KT boundary. The KT boundary was first identified in sections of Rajamundri in Andhra Pradesh. Here in Rajamundri, Andhra Pradesh, this is the KT boundary, lower trap. All these sediments, volcanism, and this KT asteroid impact, it was also found in Rajamundri. And because of this, there is clear evidence that the sea levels fell in the final stages of the Cretaceous by more than any other time in the Mesozoic area. In some Maastrichtian stage rock layers from various parts of the world, the later layers are terrestrial. Early layers represent shorelines, and the earliest layers represent seabeds. So there was a severe sea level regression. So from all this, there now, apart from asteroid, there were multiple causes. Multiple David J. Archibald and Fastovsky, they discussed a scenario which combined three postulated causes: volcanism, marine regression, and extraterrestrial impact, the asteroid impact. All of these three caused this KT extinction. So with this, I sort of am ending today's class. So is it clear to you people? Do you have any questions?
তো লাস্টের যে আপনি দেখালেন ওই প্রেজেন্টেশনটা, ওটা নিয়ে যদি ডাউট হয় আপনাকে পরে একবার জিজ্ঞেস করতে পারি স্যার একবার?
নিশ্চয়ই, এটা এটা জিজ্ঞেস করতে পারো,
ঠিক
নিশ্চয়ই
আছে,
করতে পারো।
ঠিক আছে।
বলছে মোটামুটি তোমার যেটা জানতে হবে, that there are multiple causes. One was sea level regression, second was asteroid impact, third was this Deccan Trap, volcanism. Okay.
ওকে স্যার, ইয়েস স্যার।
So, so evidence of asteroid impact, Chicxulub Crater, Deccan Trap at the KT boundary, he found out that there was volcanism, and then there was evidence of sea level regression. এই তিনটে এভিডেন্স পড়তে হবে, ব্যাস।
স্যার নামগুলো তো পড়তে হবে না, না মানে কারা সাজেস্ট করেছে?
একটু যে KT extinction, only for KT extinction.
ওকে স্যার।
For the others, it is important who died out, how many years back, and the name of the extinction, other mass extinction.
ওকে স্যার।
ওকে,
ইয়েস স্যার।
কালকেও একটু ভাবছি ক্লাস নেব একটা সকালবেলা, অনলাইনই নি, বাড়িটা এখনো একটু গন্ডগোল আছে, ঠিক আছে?
Okay, sir.
ওকে স্যার।
কালকে একবার একটু ডাকার, আসলে এত ছোট জায়গা তোমাদের বসাবোটা কোথায় সেটাই মুশকিল হয়ে যাচ্ছে। হ্যাঁ, তাই জন্য কালকের দিনটাও অনলাইন করি, তারপরে নেক্সট উইক আবার আমরা অফলাইন করছি, ঠিক আছে? একটু সবাইকে
ওকে স্যার।
বলে দিও।
Yes,
জলেরও
sir.
সমস্যা তোমাদের হচ্ছে আসানসোলে?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, একটু অসুবিধা হচ্ছে জলের।
আমাদের প্রচন্ড জল টল নেই, খুব অসুবিধা হচ্ছে, ভীষণই অসুবিধা হচ্ছে।